Welcome back to FallingFoxGaming, everybody. I am your host Blaine, and today we're going to be continuing our Kenshi's Beginner's Guide for 2022. Today, we're going to talk about two different locations that I consider to be ideal for beginners to start their first bases. I'm going to try and keep this video very short so that way the people that are trying to watch this for actual information can pop in, watch the video, and then get back to playing their game. So let's jump right in without wasting any more time. The first location that we're going to talk about is right in between the towns of Hub and Squin, located in the western part of the world. This is probably the safest location to build your very first base if you're just starting out and if you're still new to the game. The reason that I consider this to be one of the best locations is that you have every single resource you need nearby. There is tons of iron, tons of copper. If you plant a well, there's lots of water. There's lots of rocks, so if you're going to build a mine for building materials, and pretty much everything else you need is nearby. Both the town of Hub and Squin have enough shops and mercenaries that you can hire if you need them, that there's no real threat of losing anything from building in this location. The other great thing is that if you do build here, the only people you're ever going to have to deal with in terms of hostiles are usually dust bandits and starving bandits. And after the first maybe 10 hours of playing the game, neither one of those become very much a threat, which is also one of the only downsides to this location, is that if you stay here long enough and you build up enough defenses, there's no real threat of building here. So if that's something you're looking for, you may want to eventually move your base or to start off building somewhere else. This is just what I consider to be one of the best starting locations. One of the things I love about this location is that you don't even really necessarily need to build defenses. You can build your base in any layout that you want, and pretty much nothing will attack you that's dangerous enough that requires walls or turrets or anything like that. All you really need is a handful of people that can fight, and at the end of the day, if you don't want to deal with those enemies, like I said, you can run right to Squin over here, hire some mercenaries, and they can come take care of any bandits that may be on their way. And the local fauna and wildlife is generally pretty tame. You really only ever have to deal with bone dogs, and there's only usually a couple of them at a time, so they're no real threat. So if you're looking for a relatively chill experience with base building, this is where I recommend you build. Now you can actually build anywhere in these hills. It doesn't have to be in this exact spot. This is just my favorite spot because it's kind of the closest in between the Hub and Squin. The second location is also really fantastic, but there is a couple requirements to it. And the first is you have to have at least one human, preferably a Greenlander. A Scorchlander will work, but I would definitely recommend at least 1 or 2 Greenlanders to be in your party. The reason for that is it's going to be in Holy Nation territory here. Holy Nation people, when you build in their land, they're going to come once a week and require you to participate in prayer day. If you have any non-humans, they will pretty much declare war on you and they will attack you relentlessly, and then eventually you'll probably die because they're quite difficult to deal with. But if you have at least one human where you could have them participate in prayer day, which is basically just like a little like chat bubble kind of conversation you have with a small group of Holy Nation people, and then have everybody else hide inside the building during this encounter, you're pretty much golden. The other downside is that if you have anybody that is non-human and they're out in the world, you have to be careful for Holy Nation patrols because again, they'll attack you on sight. So as long as you're dealing with mostly humans or all human parties, this location right here is absolutely perfect because it's extremely safe. You have a lot of Holy Nation towns and just general like little like villages nearby that you pretty much never have to deal with anything bad. Even the bandits and stuff don't make it very far into this territory because oftentimes they get wiped out by Holy Nation patrols. So if you're looking for another location similar to the other one where there's a lot of resources and stuff nearby and you're dealing with mostly humans in your party, this can be another great location for you. The other thing that's nice about this location compared to the other one is if you're playing on a little bit better computer, you can have your draw distance up quite far and you can see for great distances. The one warning I will give about this location is that because Kenshi kind of bugs out sometimes, occasionally your base will get attacked by an incredibly powerful raiding party. And this can happen from cannibals from the far north, any of the fogmen like raiding parties from the west, or anything in between, honestly. I've seen some crazy encounters just randomly show up, and it only really happens over in this area for me. So that is something to pay attention to. You will have to look at your warnings on your information sheet to make sure you're not missing anything important, or do some extra backup saves every now and then just to make sure you don't get ambushed by an incredibly powerful force. Again, if that does happen though, I would recommend just going to one of the local Holy Nation towns and hiring some mercenaries to take care of them, because the Holy Nation mercenaries are very powerful and can usually handle just about anything in the world. Now, just a couple of parting notes before I end this video. As I've said in previous videos in this series, there is no perfect location to build. Every single person has a different idea of what they want for their base, so honestly, I recommend you look around for a location that suits what you want. The reason why I posted these two locations is that I wanted to give new players an idea of where they can build and safely build up their base, including doing the research needed to build other buildings and other infrastructure for your bases. If you're a new player, it's generally a good idea to find a place like this where you can build and do your research and get money and resources and whatnot slowly at your own pace while you learn the game. A lot of other locations in the game world have a lot of very difficult things to deal with. Either some of the local bandits or some of the local, monsters and stuff can really ruin your base building experience if you're constantly being attacked by something strong. In these locations, even if you're attacked frequently, it's going to be by weak things that you can usually deal with. If you guys have any other questions or comments, or if you guys know of other good locations, please leave comments down below to help any new players that watch this video and just want some ideas of where to build. These are just two of my favorite locations. I know there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other really good locations. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to watch the rest of the videos in the series. I'll see you guys next time.